Hello. How are
Hey,
you doing today, Megan?
I'm doing all right. Today has been kind of a struggle with me to stop smoking my vapes, but for the most part, I haven't hit it or anything. Like I guess with me chewing the gum here lately and stuff has been helping me improve a lot.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so do you mind talking more about your road to kind of quitting smoking?
Sure. So I've looked up some things online, like for instance, using straws or gum or just other things too
Mhm.
will help me to like just stop smoking permanently. It's not going to happen like directly, now maybe, but so far I haven't hit it, which is a good thing. But like I said again, this has been a really big challenge for me.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Especially quitting, I know you're trying to minimize it and eventually maybe even quitting. It's not something that can just happen overnight. It's a whole long process, and then sometimes there's even setbacks that could
Yeah,
potentially affect that. But you're doing really good so far from what you've
thank you for
told
that.
me. So I'm just gonna go over a little bit of what we talked about last time. And so we talked about vaping. You've been vaping for about a year, or a few months, and then you stopped about a year ago.
Mhm.
And then you had explained to me that you just kind of did it cold turkey for the reason of being, you said you just want to see if you could quit, and you were able to do it. So that's a great accomplishment. You also mentioned how you use gum. Um, and then later on, I'm gonna talk more about that. I did look up some other tactics that we could be using, or you could be using, that could help you. Again, minimize your vaping. Um, so last time we saw each other, you said that when I asked from a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being you're ready to, or you're confident quitting, and 10 being you were, with 1 being that you were not confident in quitting, and 10 being you were confident, you picked about a 5.5 and a 6.
Mhm.
How would you feel, or what number would you feel that you are today?
I'd say I'm about a 8 in a way, like a high 8. It's I mean, like I said, it's anything that you stop doing is kind of challenging.
Yeah.
It's just you have to stay persistent and everything. But I'd say an 8 now. I feel a lot better since I'm using other things to cope with stop smoking my vapes and everything, and that's just helped me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like I said, it's a long process. It's hard to quit. So you said you picked an 8 on that scale.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think um would affect that number? Like, let's say you picked like a 6. If anything would change, or
Mm, no, not really. Well, if I did a 6, I would say like that would be maybe me trying to smoke again or going back to that habit.
yeah.
And like I said, it's expensive in a way too. It's like I always, you know, feel the need to smoke
Mhm.
because I did it for, a year or so. But I feel like I'm in a better place now.
Yeah, I understand. And then again, I remember you talking about your anxiety and how vaping has helped.
Yes. Well, I always was so dependent on it, and I should have seen help with
Mhm.
my anxiety as well. Which, um, by me, I feel as if though now that I'm using gum and stuff instead of smoking, it kind of helps more in a way. And when I was smoking, it wasn't beneficial to me. That was kind of harming me more in a way with that nicotine.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you've made a lot of progress since the last time I talked to you. Um, and so you had said before also that you would vape about, like, you would have about 1 to 2 vapes a month.
Yes.
Has that changed?
I've got down to where I gotta have one, but like I said, I don't even really hit it. Like I think I just have it just to like see how far I've come and stuff and see if I'm able to resist that temptation. But I feel like since I'm on a 8 now in the scale that I'm
Mm-hmm.
higher, I feel like I'm better improved now.
Yeah, and 8 is great. You are so close. And like I said, you've done so much since the last time I talked to you. Um, talk. All right. And so I have some not suggestions. I looked up prior to us meeting on different tactics that you could be using. I know you mentioned gum again. I looked up that even hard candy can help.
Mhm.
Munching on something. So an example here would be like raw carrots. You can use sunflower seeds, something crunchy, just to help you have that sensation. And then also I even found apps that you can be using to help you like track down your vape or how much you intake and stuff like that. But as far as again from the first time I met you, you've definitely came from something. It's not, like I said, it's not easy to stop, especially vaping, and then with your anxiety. Um, Again, to bring up that topic, and you said how have you tried to cope with that aside from vaping?
I haven't really like looked into it necessarily, like what I should do exactly, but I feel like sometimes when my anxiety flares up or whatnot, I'll just like count down instead of feeling the need like I need to smoke a vape.
Yeah.
Because I'm becoming dependent on it. And like I said, I stopped cold turkey at one point in time, so I know I'm able to reach this goal of just stopping completely again, which, like I said, I haven't smoked in a while either. I'll use chewing gum or like straws and stuff, but now that you suggested the carrots and candy and stuff, I didn't even know that. So I feel like that'll help in a way too. And I do love carrots, so that'll be beneficial to me.
That's great. Also, asking for help, even going to some counseling to talk about anxiety. If you get to a point where these things may not be as helpful, going to somebody to help you prioritize that is really good. Um, but yeah, I think you're on the right track so far. Hearing is that you've done a lot again since we've met. You've done you looked into more of chewing gum. You even looked at different types like that, like the straw thing. Um, you you went up the scale compared to last time. Again, you were from a 5 to 6, and now you're an 8, which is great. Um, just remember that celebrate your success. It's not gonna be a straight road. There's gonna be bumps on that road. We're always here. My team and you have my office number. You can always do regular check-ins to let me know how that goes. But that sounds great. Overall, as for your short-term goal, as for your short-term goal, I think you're on track. With minimizing and completely overall. Hoping that you quit vaping. What? So, from our previous conversations, or our conversation, it seems that anxiety is kind of your pinpoint of smoking.
Yeah. Well, you're correct on that. I do agree with that. I'd say I need to look in maybe to some assistance with my anxiety because from looking at it now, I see that my anxiety is the whole problem with this. And if maybe I could get my anxiety maybe down to a lower level, or if I had better coping mechanisms, I should say, with that, it'll help me not feel the need to smoke because every time my anxiety would come about or whatever, I just felt the need to smoke. And it's like the worst my anxiety was just like sometimes it was just too hard not give in, and I don't want to go back to that point because like I said, it's expensive, and really need to stop.
Okay, and so now we can create a plan with different coping mechanisms to help. How does that make you feel?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
It's okay.
That's good. Alrighty. Okay, so we can create a plan with different coping mechanisms that could potentially help. So how does that make you feel?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
No, not really. Well, I do have one question. I do apologize. So dealing with my anxiety and stuff, if I feel as if though like I'm not coping with that well, is there any possible way that I can contact you and we find another plan of sorts?
Oh yes, something. Of course. I'm always open, and I hope you're always open to different things. We can always look into counseling. We can look into different coping mechanisms, as I said before. But I'll make sure to give you my office number so you can contact me if anything. But yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So I'm really glad we got to meet today. To talk more about you, of course. But thank you for coming, of course.
And thank you for helping me as well.
Of course.